Hello and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's get you the headlines this Saturday evening. Delhi records voting turnout of over 57%. Many noted personalities, including President Ramnath Kovind, cast their votes to decide the electoral fate of 672 candidates, including Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Counting of votes for all 70 seats to take place on the 11th of February. India and Sri Lanka signed pact to increase cooperation against terrorism. After summit-level talks with Sri Lankan Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapakse, Prime Minister Modi underscores India's commitment to strengthen bilateral relations. Seeks devolution of powers to minority Tamils in Sri Lanka. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman meets businessmen in Chennai, asserts India's economic fundamentals are very strong. Government is making efforts to achieve 8% growth, foreign investment at its highest level in the country. India ready to compete with big powers in defence and is poised to be a manufacturing hub, says Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, addressing the closing session of the Defence exhibition in Lucknow. Defence Minister also discloses that over 200 MOUs have been signed at the event. And soldier on shooting spree kills more than 17 people in Thailand. Suspect allegedly shot at his commander and other soldiers at a military camp. Also opened fire at a Buddhist temple and a shopping mall while live streaming the attack on Facebook. First, all the news and updates from the Delhi Assembly elections. More than 57% of Delhi's electorate cast their ballots till 6 p.m. The voting, which began at 8 a.m., ended at 6 in the evening. Over 13,000 polling booths were set up in the national capital for the over 140 lakh voters. A total of 672 candidates are in the fray for 70 assembly seats. A maximum of 28 candidates are contesting from New Delhi constituency, while Patel Nagar had the least number of candidates at 4.
This is the tentative data. It is tentative because the voting has not yet concluded in many locations. In many polling stations, the voting is still continuing. You are aware that officially the poll closure time is 6 o'clock, but any voter who reports to the polling station before 6 o'clock is given at 6 o'clock he is given a slip. So in many polling stations there was long queue even at 6 o'clock, so everybody has been given the slip. All these people will be voting, their votes will be taken for whatever time it takes. So till all the voting has happened, we will not have the final voter turnout data. But at the moment, tentative data is 57.06%. It is bound to increase.
Political leaders and dignitaries led from the front in casting their ballot for the Delhi Assembly polls. President Ramnath Kovind cast his vote at a polling booth in Dr. Rajendra Prasad Kendriya Vidyalaya of New Delhi. Former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, Congress President Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi also cast their votes early in the morning. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Delhi BJP Chief Manoj Tiwari were also among those who cast their vote early. Chief Minister and Aam Aadmi Party National Convener Arvind Kejriwal, who is eyeing to repeat his party's 2015 Assembly performance, voted at the Rajpur Transport Authority polling station in the civil lines area. A model polling station termed Pink Booth was set up in all 70 constituencies. These booths were managed exclusively by women and had medical kits, crutches, ramps and also wheelchairs. While the ruling Aam Aadmi Party is making a bid to return to power, the BJP is seeking to get its chief minister in Delhi after 20 long years. The Congress, which has ruled Delhi for 15 years, is expecting resurgence in its vote share this time around. And for more on the story, let's go across to my colleague Akhilesh Suman. Akhilesh, a very good evening. So how did the voting go about in the national capital?
It is really interesting that this time voting percentage could not go up the way it was going up in last two elections. If you remember, in 2015 it was 67%, and just 2 years before that it was 67%, and 5 years before that it was 57%. So I think after 12 years Delhi voters have turned out in a very low number. It is 57.6% this time, and every political party, Congress, BJP and Aam Aadmi Party, all the three political party leaders are disappointed a bit about the low voter turnout, because polarization was very sharp. BJP was raising the issue of CAA, raising the issue of NPR, and there was polarization against BJP also, and Aam Aadmi Party was telling that yes, I have done lots of work, so you should vote for us, and Congress was telling that in their tenure Delhi has developed, and everyone was expecting that people will come and vote for them. At least the voter turnout could have been very good, but yes, I think people are a bit disappointed from all the political parties, or maybe this is some disenchantment among the people. But whatever is the reason, but I think nobody is liking the type of voter turnout in the capital of a country where people should have turned up more. So this is the general milieu of this election. But other than that, issues were very important, and BJP was raising the national issue, the security of the nation issue, also some issues like citizenship, and Aam Aadmi Party was trying to portray that they are the party which are serving the people in a better way. So
Akhilesh, there is, as you pointed out, there is nearly 10% drop in voter turnout this time as compared to last time, which was about 67%, as you pointed out. So I mean, is this the final figure, or what does the ground report say? Were there queues witnessed at polling stations? Is this figure likely to rise when the final figures come?
I don't think likely to rise, because the time when election commissioner was addressing, it was around 7:15 he has told, but after that I don't think there is a very big chance of increasing. It is 57.06%, so maximum it will go up to 57.5%, because in the last lap some voters are left, but in places like Delhi you should not expect that it will increase too much, because it is not a hill area, it is a very smooth place, all roads are good. So I think it will not be much increase in the voter turnout till the final figure is coming, Tina.
Okay, Akhilesh, thank you so much for joining us with those details. And with that, we'll slip into a very short break here, but more news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
Watch The Big Picture with me, Frank Rausen Pereira, at 9:30 p.m.
722 people dead due to coronavirus. WHO meet in Geneva to address the situation. While in Hong Kong, coronavirus outbreak worsens mistrust between citizens and leaders. Donald Trump takes a victory lap after acquittal. Will this impact the upcoming US presidential election? Get up to date with all the important international news stories in World Panorama tonight at 10 p.m. only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held talks with his Sri Lankan counterpart Mahinda Rajapaksa on Saturday. The delegation-level talks covered the entire expanse of bilateral ties between the two countries, including in areas of defence and security. Mahinda Rajapaksa is on a 5-day visit to India, his first overseas tour after being appointed as Prime Minister of the island nation in November last year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held delegation-level talks with his Sri Lankan counterpart Mahinda Rajapaksa in New Delhi on Saturday. In a joint statement after the delegation-level talks, Prime Minister Modi called terrorism a major threat in South Asia that both Sri Lanka and India have had to fight.
आतंकवाद हमारे क्षेत्र में एक बहुत बड़ा खतरा है। हम दोनों देशों ने इस समस्या को डटकर मुकाबला किया है और इसलिए आज की हमारी बातचीत में हमने आतंकवाद के खिलाफ अपना सहयोग और बढ़ाने पर चर्चा की।
Both Prime Ministers reviewed bilateral relations and discussed ways to boost mutual trade and investment relations. Increasing people-to-people contacts, ways to boost tourism and improving connectivity also figured in the talks.
आज की बातचीत में हमने श्रीलंका में जॉइंट इकोनॉमिक प्रोजेक्ट्स पर और आर्थिक, व्यापारी और निवेश संबंधों को बढ़ाने पर भी विचार विमर्श किया। हमने अपने पीपल टू पीपल संपर्क बढ़ाने, पर्यटन को प्रोत्साहन देने और कनेक्टिविटी को बेहतर बनाने पर भी चर्चा की।
Both sides have decided to adopt a humanitarian approach on the issue of fishermen. On the long-pending demands of the Tamil population, Prime Minister Modi expressed confidence that the Sri Lankan government will realize expectations of equality, justice, peace and respect of the Tamil people within a united Sri Lanka. The Lankan Prime Minister thanked Narendra Modi for his government's neighbourhood first policy and the priority India attaches to Sri Lanka.
A part of our discussions centered on cooperation in regard to the security of our two countries. India has always assisted Sri Lanka to enhance our capabilities in intelligence and counter-terrorism, and we look forward to continue support in this regard.
Earlier, Rajapaksa met External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. Both leaders discussed issues relating to security cooperation between the two neighbouring countries. The Sri Lankan Prime Minister was also accorded a ceremonial reception at the Rashtrapati Bhavan.
An atmosphere of trust and cooperation associated with zero tolerance to terrorism and separatism are the cornerstone of India-Sri Lanka relationship. And that is why both countries have decided to cooperate to establish peace and stability in the region. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Sanjay Kumar in Delhi.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that the Union Budget 2020 has been prepared to meet the aspirations of the people, improve economic development and also provide a caring society. Interacting with members of trade associations, industrialists, chambers of commerce, banking, insurance and cooperatives on the Union Budget in Chennai on Saturday, The finance minister said it is the objective of the government to keep everyone in the loop even as budget was to be passed in parliament. Listing out the various achievements of the government in improving the economy, Nirmala Sitharaman assured that the government is working towards the goal of reaching an 8% growth rate. Referring to the increase in investments, she said that foreign direct investments have increased to the maximum level and foreign exchange reserves were intact. She also said introducing a new system on income tax was a new thought to ease the complications in filing tax returns.
PM Kisan through the DBT has now touched more than 8 crores already of farmers. More will also be given the moment states are also reconciling their lists and providing it. So, not reduction, but actually an increase is happening in PM Kisan.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called for steps to transform universities into centers of ideation, safe spaces for exploration and conducive environments for entrepreneurship. After releasing the book titled A Child of Destiny, an autobiography penned by Professor K. Ramakrishna Rao in Visakhapatnam, the Vice President asked all educational institutions to nurture and foster the entrepreneurial spirit right from school days.
One of the reading newspaper heading is inside the members almost came to blows. Members of Parliament, what is happening? So this is not to criticize this party or that party. This is not to criticize this state or that state. And if you see the language that's being spoken by politicians against each other, thinking as if they are enemies, we should remember that we are not enemies. We are rivals, not enemies. We have a history of the contributions made by those great people and also the great contribution made by legislators in our state, combined Andhra Pradesh. And what is happening now? The levels of debate, the acrimony, the animosity that has come into public life is really worrying.
The Vice President also called for innovative and homegrown solutions to tackle challenges like rural-urban divide in the country.
Asian Development Bank, many of the institutions, everybody is saying India, if it moves with these reforms, India will become the third largest economy in the world. That is the reality. For that, it will not happen simply because of the Prime Minister, not because of Finance Minister, not because of Chief Minister. All the stakeholders at various levels, we must all work hard. We must all put our thoughts together and actions together and do duty to our responsibility.
The Vice President also visited the Eastern Naval Command in Visakhapatnam on Saturday. He inspected the Guard of Honor at INS Degat during his visit to the Eastern Naval Command. He was given a comprehensive briefing on the role and responsibilities of the Eastern Naval Command. In fact, he was also taken by board for harbour familiarization, which was followed by a visit to the indigenously built stealth frigate INS Sahyadri. The 11th edition of the Deaf Expo, a flagship biennial event of the Ministry of Defence, concluded in Lucknow on Saturday. Addressing the valedictory session, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that the Defence Expo has succeeded in projecting a new identity of the state of Uttar Pradesh in the defence sector. He added that the defence corridor received a huge boost for attracting new investments, which would help establish India as a defence manufacturing hub in the world.
नया भारत रक्षा के क्षेत्र में बस सशक्त, समृद्ध और समर्थ ही नहीं हुआ है, बल्कि विश्व की बड़ी शक्तियों के साथ कदम से कदम मिलाकर आगे बढ़ने के लिए पूरी तरह से तैयार है। और यह आयोजन एक शंखनाद था, जिसने बड़े ऊंचे स्वरों में दुनिया को यह बताया कि आने वाला समय भारत का होगा, और एक उद्घोष था कि भविष्य में हमारा देश ग्लोबल डिफेंस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का एक बहुत बड़ा विश्व का केंद्र बनेगा।
Over 200 partnerships and technology transfer initiatives involving state-run defense majors, private firms and also foreign arms manufacturers were sealed, providing for joint development of military hardware and weapons systems. 23 of the total MOUs were signed by the Uttar Pradesh government. Another major announcement was the issuance of the initial operational clearance certificate to state-run aerospace major Hindustan Aeronautics Limited for the production of light utility helicopters.
कॉन्क्लेव में लखनऊ डिक्लेरेशन को भी अडॉप्ट किया है और इसमें मुख्यतः आतंकवाद के बढ़ते खतरों से निपटने के लिए कोऑपरेशन को और बढ़ाना, इंफॉर्मेशन की शेयरिंग करना, इंटेलिजेंस की शेयरिंग करना, सर्विलेंस को शेयर करना और मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी को संरक्षण प्रदान करना आदि, यह सब सारी चीजें इसी के अंतर्गत शामिल हैं। और एक तरह से यह डिफेक्सपो दुनिया के विभिन्न देशों के साथ हमारे डिफेंस कोऑपरेशन को बढ़ाने और म्यूचुअल इंटरेस्ट के मुद्दों पर चर्चा करने के लिए भी एक फोरम बन गया है।
HAL CMD R. Madhavan spoke exclusively to Rajya Sabha TV. In a conversation with my colleague Panchanan Mishra, he said that HAL is targeting the global market to sell Tejas light utility helicopters and Dornier civilian aircraft. Listen in.
कल ही जो लाइट यूटिलिटी हेलीकॉप्टर है उसके लिए IOC साइन हुआ है। सर सबसे पहले बताइए कि भारतीय वायुसेना से शुरू करते हैं। भारतीय वायुसेना के पास अभी विमानों की बहुत कमी है और उन्होंने अपना RFI भी जारी किया था। HAL उनको क्या सप्लाई करने की स्थिति में है भारतीय वायुसेना को?
HAL का अभी 85% वायुसेना के जो भी एसेट्स हैं वो HAL के बिल्ड हैं, यानी तो HAL से मेंटेन्ड हैं। तो हम ये चाहेंगे कि हमारा सपोर्ट जो है वायुसेना के लिए जारी रहे और फ़िलहाल हमारा जो प्रोडक्शन लाइन जो है अभी Su-30 में है, जो कि हम लोग ये चाहते हैं कि वो कंटिन्यू रखें। दूसरा चीज़ है कि हमारा अभी LCA का 83 का ऑर्डर आने वाला है, वो आएगा तो ये भी हमारे स्क्वाड्रन स्ट्रेंथ को इम्प्रूव करने में काम आएगा।
At least 2 people were killed on Saturday in a firecracker explosion in Punjab's Taran Taran district. The blast occurred during a religious procession near Paho village in Taran Taran when firecracker sparks fell on a tractor trolley where the fireworks were stacked. 11 people have been injured in the explosion. They've been admitted to a nearby hospital. And a Thai soldier killed at least 17 people in a shooting rampage on Saturday in the city of Nakhon Ratchasima in the northeast of Thailand. A video published online shows the street where gunshots were heard. The police identified the suspect as Jakra Pantoma. He had posted on his Facebook page earlier in the day that death is inevitable for everyone, after which he opened fire at different locations in the city, which is more than 250 kilometers from capital Bangkok. And news now from China, where the death toll due to coronavirus has risen to 723. An American woman and a Japanese man became the first foreigners to have died from the new coronavirus in China. According to the Chinese Foreign Ministry, 19 foreign nationals in China have been confirmed to have contracted the virus and are undergoing treatment in various hospitals. The total confirmed cases of coronavirus in the country have soared to 34,598. The United States of America has offered up to $100 million to China and other impacted countries to combat the fast-spreading coronavirus. It has also donated close to 17.8 tons of medical supplies to China, including masks, gowns, gauze and respirators. The Indian embassy, meanwhile, in Beijing has urged all Indian citizens residing in China's Hubei province and elsewhere in mainland China to exercise precaution. The virus has spread to more than 17 countries since December last year. And let's now get you some news about environment and climate change. A research base in Antarctica has recorded the hottest temperature ever for the continent. The World Meteorological Organization said on Friday that the Esperanza base on the northern tip of the Antarctic Peninsula recorded a temperature of 18.3 degrees Celsius. The temperature was recorded at the Argentine base on Thursday. Now, this beats the former record of 17.5 degrees Celsius, which was set in the year 2015. Scientists believe that global warming is causing the giant ice sheet on the South Pole to melt at a very fast rate. The melting will eventually lead to a global sea level rise of at least 3 meters over centuries. The record in the wider Antarctic region stands at 19.8 degrees Celsius, recorded in January 1982. And in some sports news now, India will take on Bangladesh in the Under-19 Cricket World Cup final on Sunday. Bangladesh will be playing their maiden Under-19 World Cup final after defeating New Zealand in the semi-finals, while the Indian team will defend their title and will be looking forward to claim a record 5th Under-19 World Cup. So that's it from us in this bulletin. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.